Welcome to the Engineering Update. I'm Technical Editor Jason Lundberg, and in this week's episode, a Pentagon spacecraft stays in orbit 469 days, 3D printing replaces a human skull, and Darth Vader runs for President of Ukraine. In December of 2012, the Pentagon launched the X-37B unmanned spacecraft into orbit, where it remained for more than 469 days, breaking its own longevity record. Since the X-37 has always been shrouded in secrecy, savvy observers posited all sorts of potential applications for the orbital test vehicle, including experimentation, military operations, and spying. In fact, all of these could be true. While its aerodynamic design and appearance are based on the space shuttle and was created with the goal of being reusable, the X-37B has much greater ambitions than transporting astronauts to and from the International Space Station. And why not? A spacecraft capable of orbiting the Earth over a year and presumably longer would have all sorts of potential applications in scientific research, topography, and of course military applications, specifically intelligence gathering. Back in 2010, John Pike, director of globalsecurity.org, a national security bible that we at ECN have frequently referenced, suggested that the X-37B could be used as a maneuverable satellite that could avoid being shot down in order to spy on China. And while the X-37B was still in orbit, independent satellite observers noticed that the spacecraft's orbit took it over countries like Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Yeah, that's probably not a coincidence.
Here on the update, we've talked pretty extensively about the potential uses of 3D printing in medical applications, but the uses for the technology are ever growing. Recently, a team of doctors in the Netherlands used 3D printing to replace the entire skull of a patient suffering from a disease that caused her bone structure to thicken, including her skull. Though the condition began with headaches caused by increased pressure on the brain, the patient slowly lost her vision and suffered from problems with motor skills. Allowed to progress unattended, the disease would have eventually caused death, as the pressure impaired other essential brain functions. Until now, there was no effective treatment for this condition. Her doctors decided to take inspiration from procedures where a part of the skull was temporarily removed to reduce the pressure on the brain after a car accident. After the pressure is reduced, either the original skull is reintroduced or the doctors use a cement implant. The problem is the cement implants don't always fit very well, but the doctors realized a 3D printed part could be designed specifically for each patient. Using that idea, the surgeons, working with 3D printing company Anatomics, were able to create an entire 3D printed skull. 3 months after the surgery, the patient has regained her vision and returned to work.
When ECN says that some people have too much money, this is what we mean. In what's either an elaborate political stunt, an April Fool's prank, or an elaborate political stunt designed to capitalize on April Fools, the Internet Party of Ukraine has paid the equivalent of $225,000 to register Darth Vader as a presidential candidate. Now, before you write this off as a hoax, consider that the Internet Party of Ukraine is a real political faction with a history of elaborate theatrical stunts. Their goals include transitioning to an all-digital media, computerizing the entire country, whatever that means, abolishing the value-added tax, offering free PC courses to the entire population, and other noble and bizarre goals. Back in 2012, Darth Vader, or the actor portraying him, also ran for a parliamentary seat, winning 3% of the write-in vote, though these results were later invalidated, presumably because Ukraine doesn't permit fictional characters or political protesters dressed as fictional characters to hold public office. Consider also that Darth Vader isn't even the strangest candidate for the presidency, believe it or not. That would be the Willy Wonka of Eastern Europe. That's all for this edition of the Engineering Update. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and be sure to watch past episodes on ECNmag.com. For the ECN channel, I'm Jason Lundberg, and thanks for watching.